Welcome everybody to the Modern Day Women Show. So we have a great show for you guys today. Our topic that we're going to be discussing is when to get financially naked with your partner. We also have a special guest, Tommy Gentleman, #1 selling book on Amazon, Back Yourself. He's going to be speaking with us today later on in the show. But firstly, Charlene, when is the right time to get financially naked with your partner?
Personally, I think it's when you think you're getting a bit serious with someone.
Yeah.
Maybe your finances are kind of getting intertwined.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking of like moving in with them, or you know what I mean, or
Yeah.
even like going out for dates and things, like who's paying for stuff. So, you know, I think when you think it's getting a little bit serious. Yeah.
Okay. So early on.
Early on, yeah.
Early on.
You think?
Yeah, I definitely think. I think if you're thinking about a future together,
Yeah.
that's when you need to start talking about finances. The earlier you can be open, the better.
Really? Okay. But would it put you off at an early stage if you start asking them about their financials? Surely should you be looking at someone and thinking, okay, it's about their personality, what they look like? Do we put a time on it?
I think it's not necessarily about your finances. You
Yeah.
don't have to speak about your personal finances early on. You can start introducing topics of discussion
Yeah.
and kind of building up. So talking about finances becomes easy because it's just like any
Yeah.
other topic of discussion.
Yeah, I guess. Edith, what do you think?
Me personally, I think that just ease into it. If you know you're going to get very, very serious, like we are looking for a future together, we want to move forward and we're going to have kids and get married, it's definitely something we need to talk about firsthand. Yeah.
That's exactly it.
Yeah, but then will it change your opinion of someone? If you meet someone and they're in a really bad financial debt stage, would it make you? Because I think for me personally, if I met someone and they said, oh, you know, I've got CCJs, you know, no, listen, you got I'm not about trying to carry someone's financial burden. So, like for me personally, I think it would put me off.
Well, I mean, some girls wouldn't mind help building with that person. So it just
True.
depends who it is. If they're showing action that we're going to get this cleared, we want to move forward, then I mean, that's the best person to be with. But if it's someone that's just sitting there like,
Not helping
Bumming
themselves.
around,
Yeah.
then it's like, no, definitely not. You've got to move on and find the right person to build the life with.
What was you going to say, Shal?
And I just have a kind of fact here from an article from BreakMillennia.com.
Okay.
And it states, for other generations, the number
Yeah.
may refer to bedfellows, but millennials have a new type to be concerned with, which carries a unique STD, which is called sexually transmitted debt. That's a bit of a mouthful, but yeah.
But I guess it's true because when you meet someone, like their financial burden becomes your burden. So
Yeah.
you're getting into bed with someone. So that's the STD or STI?
STD, it states.
STD.
Yeah.
Wow. But I get that though.
Especially if you're thinking about the future.
Yeah.
Depends if it's serious or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then also people don't want to be honest about their financial situation.
Well, I have a fact from the Evening Standard article that says couples should talk about finances early on, as 1 in 10 Londoners do not trust their partners with finances. Even worse, 1 in 3 Londoners are in financially incompatible relationships.
Oh.
But then I do think that maybe some people should kind of support someone else and kind of help them build or get out of debt. So I guess if you're willing to do that, then,
Yeah.
you know, do you say, okay, do we try to, you know, bring your debt down so in the future we can kind of move forward in a positive way?
I also think it depends where you're at in your own personal life, because if you was at that stage where you was in a financial difficult situation and you've worked your way up to overcome that, and then you meet someone who is at a difficult stage, you then have to go back and deal with that. Me personally, I ain't got time for that. I'm not gonna do that.
You know what? The sweetest thing, actually, you know the actor Viola Davis?
Yeah,
When she met her husband, she had bad credit.
yeah,
And she was like, oh my God, I don't know if he's going to take me because I've got bad credit.
Yeah.
She didn't ring him for a very, very long time. Then she plucked up the courage
Yeah.
to tell him. And he's like, we can share our credit together. Like, no worries, babe. I was like, oh my God, like,
That's
that is
cute.
amazing.
yeah.
Yeah, I think if you can help your partner get out of that financial debt, if you're willing to, unlike some.
Well,
I think it's just seeing if you guys have
Preference though, isn't it?
similar values as well.
Yeah.
Financial values, yeah.
but I guess if they're working towards trying to make themselves better.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if they're just going through the same circle of life, like we can't, you know, time is of the essence. We can't be waiting around. I can't be waiting around for you to fix yourself.
Yeah, or if they are kind of just expecting you to do all the legwork.
Yeah.
Then, yeah.
That's what I'm saying about carrying. I don't think anyone should carry anyone in a relationship. It should be an equal thing financially as well.
Yeah.
I have a fact from this article.
Yeah.
Listen, money matters. This is the frankest money conversation you will have. If you are about to tie your finances to another person, you must disclose where the bodies are buried. At the very latest, you want to have this conversation when you realize you could marry or move in with this person.
That is true.
Yeah, which
That
goes
is
off
true.
which goes off what I was just saying. And my fact from Lloyd's Bank Word article,
Yeah.
50% of UK adults believe that talking about personal money matters is taboo. 2/5 of people who have felt embarrassed talking about their personal finances, and 1/4 have lied to the family and friends about personal finances.
Yeah. But I guess we're just living in such a fake world that everyone does. No one wants to admit that they've got bad credit, or do you know what I mean? No one wants to say, meet someone, because you're living off this kind of persona. Especially if you're meeting someone off social media. You're living off this persona. So,
But
you know,
it all, you know, it all comes to the surface in the end.
it does all come to the
because
surface.
there'll be
It
a
does.
point where
It
you
does.
where you've reached where
Open
you
the
have
wrong
to
letter.
Or brown
that.
envelope.
But you
When
have
that
to
brown
lay
envelope comes through
you
the
have
door.
to lay everything out on the table, don't you?
You
You
do.
have to.
You're
It's
hiding
like-
all your online purchases. It's like, it's like the postman, no.
You can't hide it. It will absolutely. It
Yeah.
will always change as
It
well
will.
throughout your relationship.
Yeah.
If that's the person you want to marry throughout the relationship, your income will constantly change.
Yeah.
Your situations change. Where you're living, if you have kids, if you want to get married, what else?
Yeah.
It's always going to change.
Yeah, it's an
true.
And
ongoing
it will always be a
situation.
subject.
And I guess if you don't have the conversation, it will cause problems later on in your relationship.
It means you won't even, it means you've not had the conversation at the beginning. So what makes you think you're going to be able to have it in the middle of it
Yeah.
and throughout?
I guess people just need to not be so nervous and scared about having a conversation. I think there is this whole taboo about the M word, you know.
But it's hard. I think it's
Do you think?
I think it's a really hard conversation to have.
Yeah, even with your partner.
Yeah,
At
I
what
think it's
stage?
a really.
Every stage is hard.
I think the more conversations you have about it,
Yeah.
the easier it will get.
Yeah.
But I think it is a hard situation, especially like if you've had a kid and maybe you're on maternity leave and then you don't want to go back to work.
Yeah. I think that
Everything
segment of finance
changes.
It is
is a
hard,
massive
yeah.
issue, especially like, you know, if the man's going to work and the woman's at home with a kid and, you know, you're relying on him.
as well.
Yeah, it's the pressure on the
Savings, what
man
you
and then
have,
that.
what you
Yeah,
have,
and like,
Yeah.
and the
All
stuff
of
of
that.
being independent, it then means you can't fend for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or be that independent woman that you were. But why should you be like that just because you're bringing up both of your child? It's
Yeah.
just, it's an ongoing topic.
It is.
Absolutely.
But I guess, yeah, it is an honest conversation that we need to make
It's an
sure that we
important
have.
conversation.
Yeah, definitely.
So we have our special guest with us, Tommy Gentleman, who has now joined the panel.
Woo, hi Tommy.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Wicked. Okay, so we're going to get straight into it. When is the right time to get financially naked with your partner?
It's such a great question.
Yeah.
And I think that the right time is based on two things. I think
Yeah.
when you look at financially naked, you have money and you have ultimately trust, you know, to get naked with someone and, you know, warts and all, but also all the good things as well, you know, it does require trust. And I think the interesting thing is that money, you earn money.
Yeah.
And trust is earned too. And I think that there has to be like a crescendo of this to be able to actually understand it, and receive that information as well, because it's a two-way thing.
It is.
And I think the right time is when the trust is there, I think.
Yeah. So you don't think it's like, you know, when you meet someone initially and you start dating. So let's go through the stages of a relationship. So you meet someone, they're very attractive, you get on very well, and you think, okay, this could be something. Do you have the conversation then, or do you wait a little bit?
So you're saying, do you get naked? Because first.
Yeah, on the first date.
Or do you talk about money first? Because they're both the trust things, right?
It's true.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
It's true.
It's fascinating because money's a resource, and we all do things with money.
Yeah.
People behave differently
Yeah.
with money or without it.
Yeah.
And I think that if there's a part of someone's personality that is hidden because it's due to an insecurity around money, albeit having it or not, then that insecurity needs to basically be broken away before there's any kind of trust. So initially, I think people will build an awareness of someone.
Yeah.
They'll, be aware of what things cost and
Yeah.
the way they behave.
That's true.
But then that doesn't necessarily mean that they have or haven't. I know a lot of people that have what you would class as a lot of money, but then they won't, they'll not pick up the bill. And then, then...
That's a whole nother conversation.
And then also, people who perhaps don't have as much as the people in the group, but they'll be more than happy to do
Chip
that.
in.
So
It's true.
So do you have any plans, like from day one, as to what a couple can do to put things in place to become financially naked or to start becoming financially naked?
from day one, I do think that whole, if you go on a date, there's no weird expectation of who's going to pay for what. I think that the key with most things in relationships is communication, and it's no different when it comes to money. I think having a talk about, hey, I paid last time, or it's probably better to go, you paid last time, I'll pay this time, but just to set that premise. If it's important to you, going into a relationship, if it's on your radar, then you do have a responsibility, I think, to bring it up, to talk about it, because it's only on your radar either because you have had past experiences where people have maybe taken advantage, or that you have something going on in the background, like you've got a story that isn't congruent with your everyday scenario. So I think it's about communication from the get-go, setting a premise right on day one.
So
How did you get financially naked with your partner? Because you're married.
Yeah, I
so
am.
I'm sure you went through the stages as well.
Yeah, really quite interesting. I mean, Kelly, my wife, is not here, so I can't talk for her. But the situation.
Have you even had the conversation?
Yes. And the interesting thing is that I like to say, as the Earth revolves, we evolve, and I think this topic also does evolve, because if you're with someone for a year or 2 years or 10 years, you are both going to have different financial circumstances happening in those times. I mean, just being completely blunt, job changes, lottery wins, inheritance, like there's lots of different things that can happen.
Redundancies.
Children, redundancies. I mean, there's lots of things that can change that. And for me in my relationship with my wife, I was pretty easygoing with my financial position. I worked, I spent, that was kind of what happened. Now, my wife had previous a situation where in a relationship she was taken advantage of financially, which left her with a bit of a sting around that. So, for her and I to go there and be financially naked, ultimately she's had to trust my goodwill, my good intentions, to go all in and know that I'm not going to do the same thing. Because if there's a past experience of anything, then it's going to be on our radar. So, there are other people out there with the same thing, and they meet someone, at some point they need to express themselves and share that situation in order for the person to know, because we're not mind readers, we can't guess. So that's one big thing that happened with me for sure.
Amazing.
So I have a question. As a man, do you think that someone's financial incapabilities should impact your decision on being with someone? So if they're actually, not just from a past experience, but if they're actually incapable
So if
to learn online shopping.
So they spend too much, you mean?
Asking for a friend.
Am I the right person to ask about spending too much? I mean, again, it's a resource. We use it for what we use it for, and how we wish to use it. I don't think anyone's ever written off as that's how you are, that's how you do that thing. I think that again, communication is a form of intervention. So if you leave someone, we're talking about getting financially naked, that means having conversations and trust. If somebody isn't fully naked, then they will be doing some part of it on their own still, and running old programs in their mind. If they're still running old programs in their mind that suggest that they have to spend money to posture up against their friends or whatever, then that bit cannot be intercepted until the partner goes there with it. So you've got to ask the question. You've got to be
And
how many of these have you got?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
do you
and
need
that's where
it?
it gets sticky, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where it does get really tough
Yeah.
and can
Yeah.
cause a relation, arguments and breakups.
Yeah.
I think it's like
Or
setting
just
boundaries,
difficult
isn't it?
conversations.
When it comes to finances.
It's just about respect,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
If you fully have respect for each other, I really think you can have an open conversation about it.
Yeah.
Because your end goal is the right goal. It's
Yeah.
like you're
Yeah.
both wanting to go there.
Yeah.
So
That naked spot.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I have a question to you. Two couples who are struggling financially, which ultimately might be having a negative effect on their relationship. What advice would you give to them?
I think that if you're struggling financially as a couple, then you've got two people who have potential there to change it. If you're on your own, that's just you.
Yeah.
You've got two people, which to me says you've got twice the opportunity.
That's very true.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
think
it
you've
is.
got one set of bills, but
Actually.
two people who can,
That
right?
is so true.
So
That is so true.
here's the kicker though. Here's the kicker, right? Here's the kicker.
This is what you don't want to hear. You get really excited.
Well, it's all well and good, saying these things, but the how I think is important as well.
Yeah.
And look, if you're in that position, and every day you go home and you're sat around the table and you're like, we are really struggling. We can't do this and we can't do that. Then soon, literally, the ceiling in your house is going to get thicker.
Yeah.
There's going to be all these limits that you're putting in place because nobody in that team is saying, well, what can we do?
Yeah.
How can we change it?
Yeah.
What can we sell?
Yeah.
What don't we need?
Yeah.
What subscription can we cancel?
Yeah.
Like, what can we, who can help us is another great
Yeah.
question. Because otherwise it's like the ceiling's coming down and before
Yeah.
you know it, you have created more of a problem than there really is.
That's so true.
Because every day that goes by, where there isn't that resolution or a door that opens for some different thinking, is time wasted.
Yeah.
And actually it's beautiful really, because I always say time is the currency of life. It's what
Yeah.
we spend
Yeah.
that isn't money. And so you're kind of losing money in all sense of the word, I think.
Yeah.
And that's not how you live. You've got to talk, you've got to set an open channel for each other to throw ideas out and be optimistic without fear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow,
That's
that
some
is
really
that
good
is a
tips.
quote
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah, I like that.
And
Yeah.
I think it's good what you
Optimistic
said
without-
that you can actually implement these things like from today. So
Yeah,
anyone
yeah.
listening now, like
Yeah.
things that you've said today, they can start
Exactly.
sit down to do. So,
It
yeah,
is
it's
about
amazing.
what can we do to change the
Just
situation.
having fun with it as well. Like, don't make budgeting such a good chore. It can be
Yeah.
like a fun way to get creative with ideas.
Shopping.
And setting goals as well. I think setting goals
Yeah.
between you and your partner, like, by this time we want to get this done
Yeah.
and out the way. I think it's just like
Goals
a
together
push
is
and
Yeah.
encouragement to
Yeah,
get
yeah.
everything done. And by the time you spin around, everything is
Yeah.
In
gone
place.
after. Basically. So my question to you, Tommy, is do you have any immediate suggestions as to how a couple can work together on bringing down a personal loan or debt to be in a better financial situation, which we were just saying, basically.
Yeah.
Goals.
Yeah, goals and targets, reminding yourself every day, but not from a sort of grey cloud looming type thing, because that's fear.
Yeah.
The other side of, in a relationship, fear or trust and love. And if you go trust and love with it, and you can put it on the fridge, and you can be like, right, today we're going to do this, that's going to bring us to there, and you can get invested
Yeah.
in the process of achieving the goal, because again, two people, one goal, that's powerful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I think that's so powerful. You just saying like two people heading is just great.
Yeah.
It's such a great way to look at it.
It is.
Of course.
It really
It
is.
really is.
But it's teamwork.
Yeah.
It
Of
is teamwork.
course.
It's all
it's
about
not just-
teamwork.
Yeah.
And like, nobody's perfect, but we need to be able to accept that. Just like if you were really naked with someone, there's no such thing as perfection.
Yeah.
And I think that being financially naked is about understanding each other,
Yeah.
really getting, and not just going there once, but actually keeping the trust,
Yeah.
Yeah.
keep talking about it. And keep an open door for questions to be asked, like
Yeah.
how much was that, and not be like, oh, I can have it. It's
Yeah,
my work
yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
You know, I can spend it. If you're automatically defending yourself, then
Yeah.
deep down you know there's
Yeah.
something going on.
Or lying about how much something was, like rounding down to the nearest 100.
Yeah. So I've been busted before. I was busted big time. Like I bought a blazer for an event, right?
Yeah.
I was like, it was 350 quid, and could I have got one cheaper? Yes, I could. So, bless my wife Kelly, she goes to wash it for me, and I'm like, you washed it? She was like, yeah, I washed. I was like, you can't. I was like, it's not supposed to be washed in the washing machine. And now, so bless her, she freaked out, and she like went to go and buy me another one. And then she was like, how much was it? And I was like, yeah. Because I told her 100, but it was 350.
Oh, wow, you really brought the down.
Yeah, but like, this is the thing, like how I'm happy to say that I've done that before, that's happened, because it's taught us.
Yeah.
Well, it taught me, like, just say it.
Yeah.
The reason why I didn't say it is because I knew deep down I could have bought a cheaper one.
Yeah.
So is
I
this
knew
the
deep down I
first
didn't
time
need
she's
it.
hearing how much it really is?
It was not about the amount, it was the principle
Yeah.
that
Yeah, of
I'd
course.
said it was something when
And
it wasn't,
Yeah.
because I didn't need it.
Yeah.
Now, if I didn't have one, she'd
Yeah.
just be like, oh, well, that was a bit silly, whatever, but because I'd already got 3,
Yeah.
you know, and I just wanted a new one for an event.
Yeah.
But I think you are. I think you are entitled to like your own. You know, we all like nice stuff. I think it's
Like your own
important
set
to.
of money.
Yeah, I think if you have, you know, if you bring home nice money, I think you are entitled to go and treat yourself.
Yeah.
But I do think that if you're the main, you know, then the other person needs to go and treat themselves as well.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does, it's a tricky
What do you
one.
think about
That's
that?
that is, so in its honest form, is, have you guys heard of like love language? Some people's love language is material things, gifts.
Yeah.
So if that's your thing, then absolutely, because you're doing the thing that makes or helps the other person feel good.
Yeah.
Now, the problem is when it falls into a cliche,
Yeah.
and it's like either person assumes that should be the case.
Yes.
So it's like the man or the woman who's earning the most amount goes all kind of, well, I earn this money so I can do what I want with it, which is basically like stealing energy from the other person.
Yeah.
Or on the flip side goes, well, come on, where's mine? Because you do that. So that, for me, that's not a good conversation to have. It should be so this month, there's a good chance that you're going to have some extra money if you want to spend on it.
Yeah.
Because the person who governs the finances in the house has said that, and it's very clear.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it can be a bit chaotic.
So now we've got some questions from the audience. So Edith.
Yes, my dear. So Miss Nick _X_. My partner gets really defensive when we discuss his income. Should I be concerned?
Yes.
Well, again, like this. So, I would approach with caution because
That's sad though.
if there's something that's obviously a sensitive issue going on there. Now, people's brains will flick to different assumptions with that.
Yeah.
I don't know where your brains went, guys, but my brain was thinking maybe he feels like he should be earning more.
Okay.
Maybe he behaves in a way that he's like earning more than he is.
Yeah.
But then on the flip side, you could have someone who maybe feels embarrassed about what they earn and thinks they should earn more. So, or earns more but doesn't want to say that they're earning more. So it's all about questions because it's communication. If you go in and you ask, I want to see your statement or I want to see your account, you're going to get a no. Right? Because it's very intrusive. It plays to the part of our brain that wants to protect ourselves. It makes us answer with no. So a better question perhaps would be, how much money do you have after your bills?
Okay.
You know, just to start to look at different ways, because what it can do is it can change the dynamic of the conversation, because he's probably got a sensitive spot around that question. You know it's not going to go well because you tried before. Take a different approach. If it's not working, change it with the question that you ask.
From Missile 87. Help. I've been in a long-term relationship and I am not fully naked.
Okay.
Help.
Okay, right. So the only thing that I can really add, or anyone can really add to that without knowing anything about the person, is that if you don't do anything, nothing will change. And you're asking for help. The help has to start from within, so it has to be, okay, what do I need to do to just start making progress on this problem? Otherwise it will always be a problem, and you'll always be on the receiving end of cause and effect. So unless you're causing something to change, it won't change. You'll just receive the effect, which at the moment is something that you need a life raft for, which is not a good place to be. So hopefully with a little bit of a different approach, we can start getting a different outcome.
Is it expected to go 50-50 on bills, even if one earns more than the other?
I think it's down to
sorry,
the
that's
couple.
from Faye Montana.
I think it's down to the couple. I mean, it's kind of like if we all went out for dinner, right? 6 of us, and I had a starter, a main, and a dessert, and you guys just had a main.
Yeah.
Yes, we could split it. Yes, we could. Everyone's going to know I had 3, right? So it's up to everyone to be able to understand what's right and what works. Now, it could be that I'd found 50 quid on the floor outside. So I was like, well, I'm just going to use that 50 quid, guys, don't worry about it. But without communication, again, nothing can be resolved. So I'd recommend splitting out everything that you as a couple pay for. First of all, doing an audit on it, which is always a good idea anyway, just to go, right, what do we actually spend our money on here? How necessary is it? But then if somebody wants their membership to that, or their Sky Sports thing, or whatever, then maybe there should be a slight change on the 50-50 in that situation. But the only way that's going to happen is for both people to understand the reason why they want to pay for it. Right? Because it gives me pleasure, I like it, it makes me feel good. Then there's the golden question, can we afford it? If so, how are we going to pay for it? So I don't think it's as easy as yes or no. It's this whole thing is very much about how you design what's naked in your relationship.
This is from Danny Star. My partner and friends seem to be able to save money each month. Where do I start? Is there anything out there to get me started?
So to save, sometimes it's better to do it first than last. If you know that on paper you earn a round number, let's just say it's £1,000 and your bills are 800. You know that you have £200 at the end of the month to spend on what you want to. You know that you like having a coffee every now and again. You know that you like going out for lunch, but you also want to save. Now this comes down to a visceral attitude of not living for today at the expense of tomorrow, but being able to look after tomorrow today. And so if you've just got like 20, 30, 40 pounds or percent that you put away and you don't even see it, then you will be forced to save. It's like if
That's true.
If the government turned around and said we're all going to be taxed more, we would be, but we'd pay it. We'd have to pay it. So it's like putting a tax on yourself to say I'm going to save X amount of percent or pounds every month before I'm even paid.
I guess have it as like a bill, like directly going out.
Just don't see it, just let it disappear.
I guess it's like our pensions now, isn't it? Well, if we've enrolled. It's just a percentage and you just accept it and it's gone. You're just used to it.
Get an ISA account. Let it go over.
Well, exactly like you would if you save for your kids. You'd have an account for your kids and put money across to it. Do the same for you, but just don't label it. Just leave it as an account.
It's true. It's a good point.
As a couple, rather.
Yeah.
Like 2 years later, how to get financially naked, part 2. What should I do with all that money I saved?
If someone decides to move in with you, but it's not, I don't know, you know when you're dating and someone's staying at your place quite often, do you think that person should be chipping in for bills?
Yes.
Well, if you've invited someone
but you're not officially moved in,
then at some point a conversation has to take place as to what you both would like the future to look like. Because you could wreck the relationship by turning around and saying, well actually, I don't think anyone would turn around and be like, hey, so you've been here for like 3 months now. You've probably added 20% onto my electricity bill.
Say that.
You've done this, you're like, right?
I would do that.
You're like, right, so...
I would do that.
Or just casually drop a bill into the washing and just, how did that get
If you can do that, that's wonderful. But usually what happens is people are sort of passive with it, and they'll be a bit like, oh yeah, I'll pay for it again then.
Yeah.
You know, and then it's just a bit like, well, hang on, what's going on?
How does that person not know that
That's what I was going to say. Like living in
costs
somebody's
money?
If
house.
it's people have conditioning based on the way they were brought up,
Yeah.
and if a man or a woman had that experience of it's always just you're always going to be looked after,
Yeah.
like it's going to be done for you. And
That is
people
so
joke
true.
about that, but it is actually something
Yeah,
that
yeah.
is inside.
Yeah.
Then there could be a bit of sort of entitlement there. Like
Yeah.
also that entitlement can come from other areas because that's what it is. It's like, well,
Yeah.
I'm here, I'm not paying because I don't need to.
Yeah.
I'm entitled to be here unless they want to,
I
obviously.
just see it as like lack of respect.
Me
But
too.
Yeah.
I'm guessing what
Lordy.
you're saying is actually they
Well,
might not actually think like that.
no.
They might
No,
just think,
so I'm trying to stick
they're
up for the
conditioned.
person because it is lack of respect, but it's also like why. So
Yeah.
maybe the person isn't like a horrible person
Yeah.
or disrespectful person rather,
Yeah.
but actually maybe they just don't think anything's wrong with it. They're just
Yeah.
a bit entitled.
Yeah.
They think, well, I'm spending time with you, like you're enjoying my presence. I can, and people can be like that. They can, and that doesn't mean that they're bad. It just means that they haven't learned yet.
Yeah.
And so again, the person who feels the emotion can only change that emotion when they make it a shared thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you are not going to get anywhere. You cannot rely on things to just happen.
Yeah.
So having that conversation in whatever
Yeah.
way
Yeah.
will help it to make sense. The
Yeah.
person might turn around and be like,
I'm
wow,
sorry,
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's for the last 3 months.
yeah. And here's for the next 3. And yeah.
So this part of the show, we like to give the audience the tips and solutions on how we would best deal with getting financially naked with your partner. Edith.
So there's a plethora of couples
Okay.
who
Okay.
have ended their relationship due to finances. And I feel like if you guys are going to build a future together, it's best to communicate finances right at the beginning in order to build a foundation of trust, respect, and honesty.
Kimmy.
So I wish I had thought about this before entering my relationship, as it can get sticky, as I mentioned earlier on. However, I do believe it is never too late. This subject will always occur, as it will 100% always change during your relationship. Be as open as you can, as money can tear a relationship apart. It is never an easy conversation, but the more we practice talking about it, the easier it will be.
So mine is just pretty straightforward. I would always say vet someone's financial situation early on. This is just me. Vet someone's financial situation early on, so you know what you're getting yourself into.
We're like backing it.
Because you don't want to get further down the line, and then there's issues that you could have ironed out initially. So for me, vet them straight away. Bam. Chloe.
I would say don't wait for it to be this big daunting conversation where you're digging up buried bodies or your previous STDs. I think have fun with it. Change the energy around the conversation. Talk about it over brunch, over cocktails, and just let the conversation flow.
Yeah.
Okay, I think from everyone talking about this topic, I think it's clear that it's difficult and a lot of people struggle with this situation. You're not alone.
Yeah.
So I think given like some of the stats and tips from today is just to kind of start now and start making a small change.
Yes, definitely.
And I think it will save a lot of heartache, as you say, in the long run. So
Completely.
I think, yeah.
Tommy?
Well, it would be to, again, look at the financially naked. To be looking at finances is money, naked is trust, and you have to earn both. So they both have similarities, they have to come together, and the only way that's going to happen is a conversation.
Amen. Amen. It is.
I do like a triangle. I do like a triangle.
I read this book, Broke Millennia, about a year ago. I wish it had been around about 10, but it's never too late to make a change. I would say start with some of the tips given in today's show, because a step in the right direction is better than none at all. Thank you for watching this video. Please like, share and subscribe.